What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another Far Cry 6 video, and today let's go over the best early on weapons you can get for absolutely free. I'm talking about the unique weapons that also unlock skins for you, and some of them are really amazing as early as the very first starting island. So we're gonna talk about that in this video, and as always, a thumbs up on it would be super appreciated. But let's get started with the first one that you can get as early as one of the first missions, specifically the one that gets you to this castle right here. Now, the easiest way to reach inside without too much fighting is through this cave on the side, simply because inside of it there's usually only going to be one guard protecting the area, but right behind that guard there's also this armory that unfortunately you can't open the door of. Reason being is because you have to actually go to the side of it and break down these wooden planks, and if you go inside of the room you're gonna be able to collect your very first unique pistol called the Autocrat. And this is a really amazing early on weapon. It's gonna be way better than your own pistol, simply because it already comes installed with armor piercing rounds, which, as I've said in the previous video, is something that you will definitely want to carry with you at all times on at least one of your weapons. But there's other reasons why this pistol is amazing. It has some really nice improved weapon damage on it thanks to one of its other mods, and of course it also improves body shot weapon damage with it as well, in case you're missing some of those headshots. But the next weapon is definitely not going to miss anything, especially since it's semi-automatic. It's also a pistol, but you also get it very early on in the game during one of these missions that bring you onto the northwestern part of the same starting island. It's actually during one of these missions that also introduces you to tanks, so you can actually steal one and pretty much finish the same mission. But it's gonna be on this side of the map, by the way, and at the end of it you're gonna take down some high-value targets. But if you go inside one of these facilities, you will notice that there's a key card resting on this very desk. So grab that key, head over to the back of the room where you will encounter this stair that brings you all the way down into the next facility, and here is where you will find the same armory, at the back of which you will also find the crate that will give you El General, which is a really awesome pistol, I might say. It comes in with some really awesome stats that actually do make it quite great, even though it's not like the best weapon in the game. But those blast rounds on it are really awesome because it's really effective against vehicles. It's also effective against enemies somewhat because it causes these mini explosions that also set enemies on fire. But yeah, against vehicles it's where it's at, so it's probably gonna help you quite a bit against some of the early ones that you might encounter until you get a rocket launcher. Now, while you're still onto the northern part of the island, head over a little bit east all the way up to this lighthouse right here. Don't worry if you didn't already, the game already points you to it, as there's gonna be a mission here that you will do very early on in the game. But essentially you're going to reach this very lighthouse right here with a small little kind of like rundown house right next to it. If you go inside of it, you're going to notice that right next to the door there's going to be another container that will give you the next rifle, which is Viva Libertad. Now, I really enjoyed this one. It's not because it comes with some really great bullet mods or because it has some other capabilities, but it's mostly because it comes with the headshot supremo, which could be very helpful early on. It's going to make headshot kills to reward you bonus supremo charge, which means you can spam it a lot more. So I talked about this in a previous video with the best early unlocks. It's a really great mod to have on weapons, especially since supremos are really amazing overall in Far Cry 6. Otherwise, you can probably replace this very early on, even with your starting weapon, simply because you will get access to mods which unique weapons actually don't get to. You can't modify them at workbenches, unfortunately. But let's keep on going, and this time around we're gonna head way over to the southern region of the starting island in a place called Corto Cay, where you will encounter something looking like a lighthouse or kind of like a water tower. I'm not really exactly sure what it is, but the next weapon is going to be a shotgun, and it's absolutely amazing. You do have to climb the tower though all the way up at the top, where you will encounter the next container that will give you the Humidora. Now, this shotgun is just overall amazing, simply because it already comes with incendiary shells, which is going to make it super easy for you to set enemies on fire, and also some other really cool mods in there that increase its damage on the first shot after a reload, and also some that improve your accuracy. So overall, I really enjoyed this one. It feels very good, like especially if you like playing a little bit more fast-paced and not care too much about headshots or being super silent. This will absolutely shred enemies as long as you're kind of aiming towards, yeah, that upper body so you can also hit the head. But otherwise, mid-close range, it's an amazing weapon and it constantly sets stuff on fire. So yeah, enemies will also be distracted while they are on fire and usually won't be able to fight back. Now the next weapon is also on the Isla Santuario, which is your starting area, but it's gonna be located in one of these middle islands, specifically called the Gua Gua Island. Now you will encounter one of these boxes that looks different than anything else until this point, but unfortunately at this stage you will likely not have the key. So to get access to the key, you actually have to progress a little bit more in the main story until you reach the Costa del Mar region and open up the camp over there, because once you open up that camp, you're also going to get access to a side mission for Chorizo that also unlocks him as one of your amigos. All you have to do in this mission is to just head over a bit south to this river region right here, hunt a couple of crocodiles, grab the meat, and then bring it back to the camp, and that's pretty much it. It's gonna be done, and then Chorizo will start digging a couple of holes that will each contain some really cool rewards for you, but one of them is going to be one of these boxes that will give you a mysterious key. And this is the key basically that you need to bring back to the Gua Gua Island and unlock that chest I was talking about. And this is gonna give you a pretty interesting assault rifle called, yeah, Fuck Anton, which is pretty funny, but it's also going to unlock a skin for your regular assault rifles. It's pretty decent. It's gonna be one of the first weapons in the game that gives you access to poison rounds, assuming that you didn't like open them up already or install them on some of your other weapons, but it's going to deal poison damage to the enemy over time. Now that's not the stronger bit of it. The stronger bit of this effect is the fact that it turns enemies against one another, so you can totally like turn enemies against each other by just shooting a couple of them and then keeping your distance, because you definitely don't want to be caught in the crossfire. Otherwise, it's an okay weapon that eventually gets replaced by something else. But what doesn't get easily replaced is gonna be the next weapon on the list, and this is gonna be a little bit after you have left your initial island and get your hands on a boat or something, and just head over a little bit to the east of where you spawned after you finished the introductory part of the game, to a place called the Burros Bay, where you will find an enemy outpost, but also at the end of it there's gonna be a crate that contains the next weapon. It's gonna be right after the so we're gonna have to jump into the water and get the Iron Curtain, which is a really awesome SMG that already comes with a suppressor pre-installed and a really cool mod that kind of keeps it a little bit cooler. I really like SMGs in the game. It's something that it will quickly pop off if you're kind of in close range encounters and want to take enemies down super fast. It's really awesome even though it doesn't have any armor piercing. As long as you aim for those heads, you're gonna be able to take down even some of the armored enemies, as this weapon is pretty amazing. Which, ladies and gents, also brings us to the final weapon on the list, and just a little bit east of that to a city called Segunda, you're gonna be able to get your very first rocket launcher in the game. Now this is gonna be situated around the eastern part of the city. You will encounter this area that seems to kind of have a party going on and whatnot. So what you will want to do in this case is to head over inside that party area, and right here on one of these dancing rings, you're gonna be able to encounter, yeah, this chest that will give you the Guaracha, which is your very first 2-star rocket launcher. It's a really awesome one that you don't have to buy. It comes in for free, and it's finally going to deal with those really annoying helicopters or some of the other vehicles that you're going to be able to instantly blow up with this weapon. This is pretty much it with all of the best starting weapons that you should definitely get in Far Cry 6, but rest assured that I'm working on a top 10 list of all of the weapons that you can get in the game. As always, stay tuned for that, and if you want to do so, simply leave a like on the video, a comment, and also consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys in the next video.